Okay, guys, in this session, we will be going through two sheets. We're going to be dealing with your sales staff and your support staff. Now, what's important to understand is it takes quite a lot of effort to figure out what your revenue is going to be. And you probably know that you've got targets that you want to hit. So those may change up, they may go down as you've been modeling out. And you'd really rather not have a lot of things to think about. So with the sales staff and support staff, those are sort of reversed out from your revenue targets. So if you decide you want to start doing more marketing, then you're getting more customers, you'll need more salespeople, or you have to be able to support more of those customers with the customer support staff. Wouldn't it be cool if the model just told you how many people you actually need when you need them? Well, that's what it does. So basically, the thing about this is you're going to make $1 million. Well, if the sales guys have to get $200,000 each, you need 5 people. Whereas if you doubled that, you'd need double the amount of salespeople too, right? Okay, this is fairly simple. I'm going to walk you through it exactly how it works now. So we'll start out with the sales staff sheet. You can see there's a guide here as usual. These are the link assumptions which are going to be driving it, our main assumptions here. And then the outputs, what we're looking for is how many people are we going to hire and when. So we'll see in this model, we start out with 1 person, getting up to 4, the SME part, 6, the enterprise, and then 10 at the 5th year. Now, this is broken up between the SME part and the enterprise. The structure is basically exactly the same, but I'll take you through each one so you understand what's happening. Now, the SME part is treated differently to the enterprise part. Enterprise sales, you basically say, I think, in 12 months' time, we'll be having customers. And so therefore the sales guys need to hit those numbers. Whereas when we're doing the calculations for the SME sales staff, you do marketing, you get leads, and hopefully you're going to convert those. And those users you're acquiring in this model can either be what I call auto-onboarded, or they can be sales supported. So, surprise, if you decide that, say, 50% of your customers are going to be sales supported, then 50% of those customers will need to be touched by a salesperson, and hopefully not in an appropriate way. But let's run through how the model works. I'll just ungroup this so you can see. Now, we'll go in. The breakdown of the parts is we've got their productivity, what the targets are, and we've got the associated number of people we'll have. So when you hire salespeople, they're typically not going to be kicking ass straight out the door, although that would be nice, right? It's going to take them some time to get up to full productivity. So in here, you can see, I assume the first month it'll be 40% productive, whereas in month 4, they get to 100% productive. And then this little calculation tells you, by the way, it takes 4 months. Now, if you want to start messing around a little bit and trying to optimize this, make them a little bit more productive over time, then you can just insert a percentage amount and this will increase progressively over time. If you don't care, put in 0. And next, we're going to deal with what their targets are, like what revenue do they need to do. So in this, we're inserting the monthly target, which is not in thousands. So we'll see $10,000 here. Okay, that's what they're going to have to be able to hitting every single month. If you times that by the productivity, they're doing 4,000 in the first month, then 5, then 6, then 10, and we'll see the numbers start getting a little bit smaller here, or larger, but with small increments because we have these percentage improvements. Now, if you want to assume that maybe at the start you kind of suck a bit about onboarding people effectively, maybe you haven't had a VP of sales who's got all those processes, then you can optimize the rates at which they're going to get more productive here too. And so it's just a bit fiddly. If you don't care, just put in zeros. Who cares? So this will tell us how much revenue. So we see what our revenue targets are. And that's what we're going to have to aim for the number of salespeople we're going to have to hire. So we'll see the revenue target we need is this amount, which is a summation of those. And then the capacity we have is the amount of revenue we can deal with the current number of salespeople. Now, if you go into the staff sheet, and if you've mapped out this, we'll go into the sales part. We'll see that you've mapped out that you already have an SME account exec and an enterprise account exec, which you would find from the drop-down menu. I assume that you have these people at full productivity already. which means they're hitting their targets that you set for them. So you'll see 10,000 is what our current capacity is because we have one person hired already. And that equates to this amount which you set as their target. So we only need to start hiring new people when that revenue becomes larger than your capacity. And you see it's smaller, 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 gets bigger. And then that triggers you need to hire a person. So you can see we need to hire a new account exec. Now, you're not just going to have account execs. You're going to want to have management layers, support people. And frankly, do you really want to spend tons of time, figuring that out in massive amount of detail? Maybe not. So very simply, we just say, we're going to hire a sales manager when you hit 7 people. Where every time that we get more than 7 people, we're going to hire a new sales director. If you're going to have sales development representatives, SDRs, they basically, do the find leads for the salespeople and support them. Well, you're going to want to hire one for every 5 people. Now, if you're doing, you may want to potentially have technical assistants. So this is something I've done myself. The sales guys are normally pretty good at whining and dining and doing the sales thing, right? They're not necessarily database experts or whatever it is applicable to your industry. So maybe you want to have some nerds go to the meetings with the sales guys, in which case you could assign how many you need to hire for each account executive, or you just leave it 0, which is just in the default right now. Now, this then is the output, tells you when you need to hire people. And all these waterfalls basically do the calculations for when you hire people, what the capacity is, what the revenue is. And then that all bops out and tells you the schedule for hiring people, okay? So we don't have to go into calculations, but just so you vaguely know. The exact same thing happens with the enterprise salespeople. You set what their annual target is, the productivity curves for them, and then the associated structures for this. I know, for example, here for the enterprise sales, there are technical assistants. You just pop these numbers in and you're done. That's it. Cool. Now, these will feed into the staff sheet. So we'll see that we have your salespeople here. And your support staff will be here, which the next sheet we'll go into. But just let me show you. You can see the links go to sales staff, or here, the links go to the support staff sheet, and then they feed in here. They multiply what the salary is here against the number of people, and then that tells you what the total costs are. Now, let's get into the support staff sheet. It's not too complicated. Guide, the links driving in it, and then we have the summary, which tells you what we're looking for, which is how many people, what their salary costs, and again, all this stuff feeds into the staff sheet as I showed you. Under the cogs part, under the cogs part here, yeah. So how do we calculate this up? Well, similar kind of logic to the sales guys. We assume that you're going to have customers. Customers are going to need help. If you're offering support, you need to hire people. Simple, right? So we'll say we've got buckets of people, Basic, Premium, Pro, and we look at the total number of customers that will be needing help every single month. So maybe the basic people get less help or don't ask as many questions, and the pro people are asking for a lot more help, and therefore half of them will be needing help every single month of the total amount. So you put in the percentages of the buckets of people you think that will need help on average, and then how much time are you going to spend servicing them? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 30 minutes for every time they give you a call? I don't know. But that time is going to have to come out of your customer support people, right? So they're going to work for, I guess, 20 days a month. And they are not going to be working all day. They might be, pulled into meetings. Maybe they have training. They're off having coffee or something. So how many hours are they actually working, dealing with emails or on the phone with customers? So here I've assumed, say, 5 hours a day, which gives you, on that basis, capacity of 6,000 minutes. So you add up basically how many customers you have, what percentage you need them, how much time you allocate them, and you can see how many minutes are actually required. And here we'd have 372. So on this basis, you can see we only need one person because the amount of time required here, 372, is a lot less than the 6,000. But you can see over time, it starts getting bigger. See, 8,526. So we're hiring 2 people now. And then you can see what the the cost per your customers are going to be, and that trends down over time, I guess, as you do you introduce improvements through optimizations here, or maybe your service is getting better, but basically you want to see that the cost per customer for servicing are lower, and hopefully realizing if you can actually even afford to do it. Now, customer success and internal engineering are designed exactly the same. Are the same, but they're a little bit different to the customer care because we're dealing with new customers. So for customer success, I've assumed that you're only going to be really doing help for onboarding. It's not going to be an ongoing thing. If you want to do it that way, then just copy the formulas for how the customer care has been worked. And so here's based on the new. So 30% of the new customers at the basic need help. Everyone who's doing pro needs help, or you can change them. Maybe this will change, go down or up over time. How long will it take to onboard them? 30, 45 minutes, an hour. How many hours a day are your customer success people working? Say 5. Gets capacity, how many you need. And over time, you see you need to hire more people. So, well, it's so many people. 1, 2, 3. So you need 3 customer success people in the 5th year. Now, for internal engineering, maybe you do it, maybe you don't. I don't know. Same thing. New customers. What percentage are getting it? How many minutes does it take to service them? How many hours are working a day? Boom. And you can see what this is charging you. Now, this internal engineering is fundamentally different to professional services. So this is just going to be help that you're going to have to offer to your clients basically for free. It's you're taking this as a cost. It's not being offset against something. If you're doing stuff to make money, you do in the professional services, which is different, and we'll deal with it later. Now, that's a quick guide into the sales staff and your support staff. The main dependencies where this goes into are going to be into your staff sheet, which then feeds into your P&L. Cool?